It's my show. It's not my show. Hello, all you beautiful bitches. I'm about to take a little fun run today. It is such a beautiful day. We are out here at MrsNuttsOfAnarchy. I'm going to take this LowRider S for a little test ride. And Mr. Nutt's going to take that fancy FatBoy over there for a little ride. We're going to do a little comparison. I'm going to do a little comparison between the LowRider S and my FatBoy. Difference in the mid controls and to the forward controls of my FatBoy. A lot of other similarities, which is why I would consider this LowRider S. So, and I'm considering mids for my FatBoy. So I thought I'd take a little ride. Just tell you guys what I think, women's perspective, short girls' perspective, things like that. So let's get going. So we're going to do a little walk around here, show you the LowRider S, those mid controls. We also are riding, Mr. Nutt is riding the FatBoy. We want to show you guys the 30th Anniversary FatBoy, so we're going to do a little walk around of that one. That's obviously not this one because you know, it's a limited edition, so they're going to keep the miles low on it, but we'll get to do a nice walk around and give you guys a close look of that. I want to thank MrsNuttsOfAnarchy for that. We're not affiliated with Myers, but they're kind enough to let us test ride some bikes, to share them with you guys. The cool thing about this LowRider S is the all blacked out look, which is one of the things that I love about the 30th anniversary of the FatBoy as well. You know, they did a super cool job blocking everything out. That personally is my style. You know, traditionally, especially FatBoy has been, you know, kind of that satin chrome kind of look, which is nice. But I personally, again, like the blacked out look. I'm thinking I'm starting to dig the mid controls a little bit. It's definitely going to take getting used to. I am not used to just not being kind of splayed out on the bike, legs out. That's just my, I guess, traditional riding position, even though it's, you know, not the most comfortable for me, being that I have short legs. So I love the look of the crinkle black. I don't know what they call it specifically, but it's like, it's just unique, and it's unique to this bike, which I love. The tires, the rims, the fun color that matches the tank. That's kind of cool. It just makes everything about this just more unique and just bike specific, and I like when they do that. Change the levers, change the grips. I would probably go with a higher rise handlebar because that's just my taste again. FatBoy and the LowRider S, I feel like they make a great, you know, couples pair. If we were going to get Softails, this would probably be our setup. I mean, we have Softails now, and they're kind of almost the same, but with the Breakout and the FatBoy, they're like similar bikes. But if we were riding probably in like California, this is kind of like, I feel like a California style with a LowRider S, such a traditional club riding kind of bike. And the FatBoy, my husband has always been, Mr. Nutt has always been a FatBoy motorcycle lover. Let's get back on and ride. Ooh, mid controls, totally different. Totally different riding style, I feel like, between this and my FatBoy, even though the bikes are so similar. So the only real difference on the front end of these two bikes between the FatBoy and the LowRider S is that the trail is a little bit longer on the LowRider S because it has a 19-inch front tire. where the FatBob only has a 16-inch front tire. So as far as the mid controls, it is such a different riding position that I'm just not used to. I think every bike, because I'm short, every bike sort of lays my feet out there, even if it's not necessarily forward controls. And of course we own a breakout, which is forward, and I own my, I ride my FatBob, which is forward. So mid controls are really, really different. I didn't, I didn't expect it to be, I don't know. You kind of sit right on top of the bike, which is different, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, except that it's different, and I'm not sure if I love it or hate it. It really might just take getting used to. I'm not sure it's bad or good. As far as like the handlebar position, I'm fine with it. I probably would like, this is stock, obviously. My personal taste is apes, like on, if it was a bike like this, I think, is I might do a little bit taller bar. Because that's just kind of like my heritage. I had 16-inch apes. I really liked that. On the FatBob, because of the style of riding, it's kind of nice to have the drag style bar that's kind of low, which gives you a lot of leverage on the bike when you're riding kind of in a sporty position, which I feel like the FatBob is a very sporty, well-handling motorcycle, which is what makes it so fun to ride, so agile. Got a little traffic. So the LowRider S is I think it's a fun bike too. I mean, I'm kind of partial to the LowRider. That was my second bike after I traded in my Sportster. So obviously it wasn't a LowRider S, so it was a little bit different. But I did really like my LowRider. I had T-bars on it and kind of fat grips, and I really liked, a lot of things about it. I only traded it in because I wanted something that I could be more comfortable on touring and doing longer rides, which is why I traded it in for my Heritage, which I loved my Heritage. Okay, yeah, so traditionally the LowRider style bike has been used for kind of light touring. People throw bags on it and things like that. So I think it's a pretty comfy bike that way. Right, and on the West Coast, it's really known to be kind of a club style bike. So it rides nice. I mean, really the only thing that would be, getting used to is my mid controls, just because every bike I ride is just not like this. But I have totally considered putting mids on my FatBob, because that is my one complaint about my FatBob, is the forward controls kind of are hard for me. I don't know if I like it or if I don't know. It's so unusual for me that it's really hard to decide how I feel about it. When I watch people ride, like when I watch videos or whatever, this is how they always look, and I always think, God, that looks so comfortable, and I'm always like so splayed out, and I'm like, if only I could find a bike that was so comfortable like that, I would be so happy. And then here I am riding this bike, and I'm like, wow, do I like this? I'm not sure. It's just so different. I don't think that it's like a good, bad, or otherwise. I think it would just take getting used to. I think if I rode like this all the time, I would totally like it. And that's kind of what I'm leaning towards, is that this ultimately would be more comfortable. I would have better control and whatnot, and especially for the longer rides than the front controls, like on my FatBob, because my leg gets so tired of being extended like that, especially with my air cleaner and all that. So I think that ultimately I would like mid controls, but right now it's so kind of foreign to me that it's taking a lot of adjustment to get used to. It handles really nice. I mean, because it's got taller bars. Obviously, it's a different style handlebar than my FatBob, and FatBob is, Bob has got the low bars for a reason, the kind of drag style bars. I would put taller bars on this, I think, with a little more pullback towards me. That is one of the only things I am noticing, is that I feel like I'm kind of reaching for my bars. But I do like the higher bar. I feel like it gives me leverage, and that's what I really liked when I had my Heritage with those 16-inch 8s. Is the leverage it gave me was really comfortable. I know I probably looked silly because I'm so little, but it was very comfortable to ride. I think that there's a lot of women who ride lowriders in general. I think it's a great bike for women. I personally like it a lot. Women who have asked, I've totally suggested it, because I just think it's one of those things that sits you down. It's got mid controls. It hits all of the buttons for women in general. And most of us are short, or at least, you know, we're in the 5 foot to 5'5" radius numbers. So for that, I think it's really good. I don't know if I would give up Bob for it. I'm not certain. It would be a hard decision. I do like that I can really touch the ground really comfortably. That's always a bonus. The air cleaner is tucked up there inside under the tank. It's got the bigger tank, which we really didn't talk about. The Bob has a much smaller tank. This has got a 5-gallon tank. My Fat Bob only has a 3.5, I think. So the range is much nicer, but because of the way the tank is laid out here, the air cleaner is tucked up under it, so it does not affect the way my leg has to lay out there. Plus, because of the mid controls, it doesn't have to go past that anyways. So there's a lot of things to love about this bike. Lately, I think that the FatBoy and the LowRider S, especially that Anniversary edition with all the blacked out pieces, both these bikes, they look so slick together. They're just beautiful. So thanks for going along on a little ride with us, getting our impressions. If you like this video, go ahead and give us a thumbs up. Questions or comments, leave them down below. And as always, real bitches don't ride, bitch.